Guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the Instant Trailer Review Show. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we are reviewing the Elysium trailer from director Neil Blomkamp.
By popular demand.
People asked for it. We're giving it to you. Neil
Don't get all spoiled and bratty because we gave you what you asked for. You cried about it. You know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We're all high and mighty already.
It already looks amazing.
Uncle Ryan and Uncle Andrew will give you what you want, but Jimmy.
2154.
I'll tell you what, Andrew, that's very far in the future.
That is.
It's not that far into the future, though.
150 years into the future. It's pretty
Our
far.
grandchildren
Well, I mean,
will live that
give or
long. We'll be alive, probably.
141 years. So, we start on... Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the story of Elysium, the film.
Yeah.
What we know so far, Earth is turned into a slum. The whole planet.
Shantytown. Big old shantytown.
Yes.
Space.
Shanty Earth.
People can pay to move up to Elysium, which looks exactly like Halo, and live on this paradise-like place.
Yeah. It's
And
basically
very
the
hard to
plot
get
of
into.
Land of the Dead in the future.
Kind of. It's very, very hard to get into.
Now-
It's very privileged. Jodie Foster runs it.
I don't know if you want to move up there.
Yeah.
If she's running it, you know that there's some crazy politics going on.
Well, this being Neil Blomkamp, we know
It's
that
gonna
it's
be
kind of...
very
It's going to be
political.
a big political, social commentary going
And
on.
we know that a lot of it has to do... Matt Damon's character tries to break into Elysium. A lot of it is a very thinly veiled metaphor
Immigration
for
reform.
immigration reform.
Long
Much
overdue
like
shot.
Yeah.
District 9 was possibly the most thinly veiled metaphor ever.
For apartheid.
Yeah.
Yes. A good film.
A fantastic film.
Fantastic film.
A good film.
And it's funny, you look at this movie.
Now, let's go back a little bit here.
That's
'Cause
the
we
shit.
get a-
That
we-
literally
That's so
looks-
beautiful.
We get a shot of the robot.
Do it,
Some of the robots.
Servant
are here.
robots.
Yeah.
Some servants. But basically, the way that Elysium is a space station. I don't know if we said this, but
Yeah,
Elysium is a
it
space,
floats above Earth.
It's a space station in geosynchronous orbit with Earth, and the way that it works,
Geosynchronous orbit.
the way that it works is it
Wow,
uses
that's a big
the
word.
rotational inertia to simulate gravity. So that's
Which actually kind of checks out.
that's like
scientifically.
science, right? there.
Dude, you had me
So,
at geosynchronous.
2001.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how you would achieve
Yeah.
false gravity.
exactly.
I love
Simulated
it.
gravity. Well, I guess it's not simulated. It is.
That's so pretty.
You can see more of the ring there if you go back
Yeah.
a little bit. You see how big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
It's
it
really-
also
aesthetically,
what
it's
is
really
really
cool.
interesting here though in this shot is it looks to me like there's some kind of pivot arm in these gigantic support beams. Now, and I don't know if that's to raise or lower kind of the atmosphere or to like expand or contrast the center of gravity to adjust like the rotational speed.
Would it be if it's too tight, it would be too rigid and therefore break? Because you look at like roller coasters and they have to be a little loose. You know, when they go up, they do this because if they were too tight,
I
the
don't
weight
know.
and the pressure would
It
just
might,
crack it.
I'm thinking it's more like
mean, that's
depending on the
me stupid
gravitational
scientific
pull,
talk.
they can adjust it so it's not you have a constant force of gravity instead of like this
Yeah.
variation.
Yeah.
Because remember, the Earth's rotation is kind of wobbly. You know,
Right.
you get, and if the moon is going behind you, you're gonna have more pull, less pull. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know how.
smarter.
I
I'm getting
mean,
a little too much of the
they
science
did in
here.
the trailer.
But,
They didn't talk about how they factor in the moon's gravitational pull, but
Anyway, sorry guys, went on a little tangent there.
but
know what? All right.
it is a clue into the tech. of
Gotta
Now, I want to
say-
say one thing also. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, really quickly. I just want to point out that even though we're 141 years into the future, when people envision the future way back in time, they're like, there's going to be flying cars everywhere. You see two, okay?
Two flying
There's
cars?
two, which is about as much as you see if you look outside. You're going to see one or two airplanes, maybe
Yeah.
a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's not like the future is not in the sky.
Yeah.
It's on the ground.
Well, it's also like children of men. It's like advances in technology are
Yeah.
going to be somewhat shortened because of the social climate of the times. You know?
Now this is a med pod basically. And it says, see if you pause it, trace amounts of cancer. So that means the people up there can kind of just be healed immediately. And if you look, it's cool. Right on the side of her face, it looks like they're doing like a
Yeah.
vein, basically a capillary scan, and kind of curing her, which is another benefit of living in
Yeah.
Elysium.
But it's kind of odd because it almost looks like when they go to that X-ray, like MRI scan, it looks like there's almost like some mechanical parts in there. So I don't know. Maybe there might be like some.
An implant.
She kind of maybe she has like some you know
Nanotechnology.
Yeah.
nanotech or like she has like a like an android sort of enhancement to her bone structure or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. if some
Cybernetic
nanotech
organism.
works.
She's a Terminator.
What I want to say is that
Matty Damon.
you look at this trailer and District 9 was, it looked as expensive to me as like Star Trek, which came out the same
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Or even Avatar, which, you know.
More
came out the same year.
expensive than those kinds of movies.
Yeah, and that movie was like $35 to $40 million. In this movie, he has about 4 times
I thought
the
it was
budget.
less than that. I thought it was like I thought it was like 18.
It might actually be.
Or 8.
I actually don't know. That might actually
Pretty
be
sure it was
factored
like
in.
8 or 18. It was
The
number
35 to
8
40 might be factored in the promotional cost too. This movie has a budget of like the first Star Trek movie.
Right.
120, they're saying.
Yeah, or about that much. So imagine how much grander it's going to look, because Neil Blomkamp comes from, much like David Fincher, much like a lot of filmmakers right now, comes from a special effects background, and I feel like that's being typecast in the same way that like music video directors in the 90s and early 2000s, like a lot of people hated on them because it was too trendy or whatever. And then you get guys like Michel Gondry who make some of the best films ever. Like these guys, like Fincher and Blomkamp, who come out of a special effects, career into cinema. It's amazing, I think, that they can do something.
If they can tell a
great.
story,
Yeah.
there's a combination that cannot be beaten. So here's Earth. Things aren't going well
Yeah,
on
welcome
Earth.
to Earth. We gotta get a little Blade Runner
What you gotta do?
architecture. Also, you see like the pyramids.
Oh, that is-
Yeah,
that's
over on
very
the over on the
Blade
way
Runner.
left. Yeah, you can
reminiscent
see.
of Blade Runner in L.A.
Do we know what city this is supposed to?
I think Earth is just one big.
I'm
circle.
seeing
Corporation.
it looks.
Yeah,
it does
Tyrone.
kind of look like L.A. though. I mean, I know they didn't film in L.A. They filmed in South Africa, but
Right.
it wouldn't also surprise me if we went back to like Johannesburg or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But I'm seeing what looks like.
I mean, these
looks
scenes
like
just look
Mexican
massive.
immigrants,
The
so
amount, the
I'm-
amount
yeah.
of, the amount of extras and stuff. Like this is all massive stuff. And there's Matty Damon, shaved head, 2 flying cars.
2 flying cars. There you go.
So, okay.
God, that's so pretty. I'm just
From what we know of the
Nah.
plot, and I mean this is what's been released. We know nothing more than the rest of the world. Matt Damon needs to get into Elysium. His character needs to get into Elysium, so he kind of has these biomechanical implants done, which is very dangerous and apparently painful, which make him super strong. How that gets him to Elysium, we don't really know yet. But
I love the grittiness that
like literally, they're
Neil
drilling
Blomkamp
that thing into his
brings into
skull.
his films.
Crazy.
I love the grit. It's like it's always like this sort of like steampunk, like retro futuristic world that he creates.
That is, it is kind of. It doesn't have the aesthetic of steampunk, but it is kind of like
No,
its own
yeah.
kind of.
It's like,
You're right.
It's
You're
like,
right.
It's like
It has its
steampunk in
own-
the future.
Yeah, it has its own like.
I mean,
So
so
there's-
it's just like it's unpolished.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
it's got
exactly.
this perfect
And it's
amount of
tactile.
grit. Yeah.
It's very tactile.
Tactile is the word I was looking for as well. It's very, very tactile. There's Charlton Copley.
And you're right, because I've seen this trailer a few times now, and I didn't even. I was like, oh, Shelter Copley wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah,
and you were like, no,
he totally
he's the dude
is.
who
And this
bombs the
is
car.
yeah, he's got some kind of biomechanical implant in his face. He plays reportedly the villain.
Unrecognizable.
Dude's
to
an
me.
amazing actor.
Yeah.
He's been in like 4 movies.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I haven't seen A-Team, but
Yeah, legend has it that he's just a kind of a friend of Neil Blomkamp's,
Mm-hmm.
and he put him in District 9, and now
History.
he's the
So
villain
let's-
in Spike Lee's Old Boy.
Let's go back because that's
Which I can't wait
This
for.
is pretty cool. So it looks like now motion control has gone from the Wii to the iPhone and iPad, and now in the future you have motion control weapons. Because with a flick of a finger, he just blew up a car.
oh, I always thought he was pressing something. Like
no,
I
it
think
looks like
I
remote
think
control.
I think he's got something on his
that's
wrist.
even cooler.
Gesture-based.
It's like a gesture-based attack.
That's
what
even
it looks like.
cooler.
Because it's really
yeah.
Yeah, that is
Something's going
even
on.
cooler.
it's like it's like super advanced Nintendo Power Gloves.
I
I'm
tell
sure
you,
that's where it goes.
they just shot the new Mad Max movie. I bet they took a look at this trailer and they were like, "Oh crap!"
That's just I just gotta point out that's just a really cool shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
Now he does kind of look like Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
We gotta say it's a
little
lot
bit.
like that.
Yeah,
I
too.
mean, in as much as current day Matt Damon can look like current day Mickey Rourke. Jodie Foster, they literally just show that she's in it a lot. We really
Yeah.
know nothing of her character.
she
other
could be
than
really
she's on
sweet.
Elysium.
She could be crazy.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna take
Is
a
that the
gander
waiting
here.
line to go up?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's,
it
I think
might
that's
be.
immigration.
I'm gonna take a gander. I don't think Jodie Foster could be very
This
nice.
is
in
this
He's
is awesome.
Look great.
This is just awesome. This little pulse wave.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster's last movie, right?
Is it? Before
Okay.
I mean,
her
we'll
Golden
see.
Globe
So
speech.
being the car fanatic that I am, I just want to point out 2 things. One,
That's a car.
on the right, this red and black vehicle that you see.
Which was on display at Comic-Con.
You'll see
last
it.
year.
You'll see a better shot of it, but it's supposed to be this Bugatti of the future. And if you know anything about Bugatti, Bugatti has a car on sale right now. It's the Veyron. It retails for $2.6 million. In the background, though, is a Nissan GTR, which is on sale now for like $86,000. But if you think about it, that car is 140 years old, but it looks brand new. I'm just pointing it out. Like,
Yeah,
there's not many cars that we have today that
vintage.
are 140 years old. So I'm just saying. So
I've had Nissans last a long time.
Yeah.
There's another shot of Charlottesville.
The trailer's quite interesting, and I'm going to be
these
completely
suits
honest.
are just so cool.
I'm going to be completely honest. I've heard from people who've seen like more footage than we have. Like you look at a lot of film blogs, Collider/Film. They talk about how they've seen 20-minute previews of this, and all of them seem to agree the trailer doesn't do justice to what they saw. Which is, you see any 20 minutes of any movie that's great, and you're like going to say the trailer isn't as good as that. But I have to say the trailer, in of itself, the architecture of the trailer, the construction of the trailer, isn't really that fascinating. It's just fade in, fade out of really pretty, images. So I actually think the trailer isn't.
It's an appetite whetter.
It's the construction of it isn't that great. We know very little about it. It's not a piece of art in itself. The way Only God Forgives, which doesn't tell anything about the story, but is a piece of art in itself. It's not that, but I do think that this is the movie to look out for in 2013.
All I'm hoping is that they don't cross the beams, because, whoa.
Well, I mean, I got to go back to these suits though, because I think these suits are really going to play way more into the plot than I would even think that they would, because I mean, you see him on the poster. You see, there's like a good chunk of time.
It's like the crux, apparently.
Dedicated to him getting the suit on to go to Elysium.
Yeah.
So,
And that is
What's cool is that we don't even really see any shots of him on Elysium.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Hunger Games. It's all about getting
like,
there.
these robots are just so cool. I mean, we saw in District 9, he's so good at creating these effects that are so lifelike.
Yeah.
I mean, the aliens in District 9 were just so incredible.
Yeah, that
Amazing.
was unbelievable.
And another thing, compared to
There's
District 9,
the Bugatti.
Neil Blomkamp really does have this theme going on with biomechanics, with almost nano-esque technology. Of course, the alien was kind of taking over his body in the same way that the technology that he's putting on himself in this looks like it's becoming one with his body. That seems to be some kind of inherent theme in Blomkamp's sci-fi work, which I find very interesting. It's almost Cronenbergian.
This shot here, actually, just now seeing it again, I'm wondering if this girl has any major point in the plot, because if you look at it, she has 2 crutches on both of her
Yeah,
arms.
it looks like she...
Now, if she's in the future on Elysium, we've already seen they can cure cancer and all that stuff.
Right.
She's probably easily cured. So I'm wondering if she's actually
Being
from Earth
Oh.
being snuck in.
and being snuck in
That's a really interesting...
in order to
water.
save her life, because she has
possible.
like MS or something like that.
Yeah.
It's his dog.
Mike's saying it's his daughter.
There's going to be some kind of like Prometheus-esque turn in character.
Is
So-
there any button on this?
No.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm with Andrew. I don't think the trailer itself, if we're talking pros and cons, the trailer itself as a trailer doesn't, like, really
Yeah.
get me going that much. But the content of the trailer,
Yeah.
just purely what we're seeing, the images, is very exciting.
Yeah, and don't get us
Or-
wrong, because we can distinguish the difference between a trailer selling a movie, which this is, and the movie looks fantastic, and there's no denying that.
Yeah.
And a trailer, which in many cases, and we watch trailers every day, we make trailers, being a piece of art in itself. And
Yeah.
in that case, I don't really think this is...
No, this definitely misses the boat on the elevating a trailer to a higher form of art.
But it's also it's a big picture, it's an action movie.
Right.
And I understand it has these big ideas, but in terms of
lot
selling it,
of
this is kind of
subtext.
what they need to show. They need to show us like there's awesome tech
Yeah.
in it, there's
Yeah.
big action.
Yeah.
Like when people are trying to sell the Master,
Yeah.
they're trying to sell a tone.
Yeah.
Like the trailers for the Master were amazing,
true.
but they
That's
didn't like give us. You had no idea what the movie was about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if
And
you saw it, you might not know.
Better this than they give us too much too early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean,
right.
I'd rather
That's a
see
good
this
point.
and see like clear shots of what I'm in store for
That's a
than
good
if they
point.
were like, you know, whispering Matt Damon running in running in wheat fields. You know, like it's just time and place.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying that last shot of that girl with the crutches. I think that's the whole motivator,
Right.
In the entire.
And they
story.
put it
I think
there for a
that's-
reason.
I think that's it.
If I was a betting man, I'd be on Jimmy here.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling that.
See-
I give the movie 2 thumbs up already, just because District 9 was just so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just blown away by that film. And I feel like the first trailers for District 9 were pretty similar to this. I mean, it's just kind of like, here's the mood, here's kind of bits and pieces. And
Yeah, and it's
that's
exciting because District 9 played around with structure. It started off as a documentary,
Exactly.
which, like a fake documentary, obviously, which is forgotten a lot because they transition out of it so smoothly
Yeah, and
that like
seamlessly.
you don't even realize for an hour that it's not a mockumentary anymore.
Which is
Yeah.
why I think I agree too. The trailers for District 9 were very good, but they didn't make me crazy because, like you guys are saying, I thought it was
I
a
think
faux
there's just so much
documentary, too.
more
Yeah.
to the film that they can even really
Yeah,
get into
so-
in the trailer.
I mean, the cons of this is that like it as a trailer, it's not like you know revolutionary or anything, but the pros far outweigh it because
Completely.
it's just like it's showing us that the movie looks awesome and it's not giving us too much, which I
Absolutely.
think is important. So that's our thoughts on
That's
it. We're
Elysium.
excited. There's the Elysium trailer review. My
Easily
goodness.
one of the most anticipated films this year.
Apparently one of the most anticipated instant trailer reviews.
Yeah.
So
A lot of
we're
people
happy to have
interested.
done it. Till next time, comment below. We'll be commenting back. I'm Ryan.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Andrew.
Thank you for watching.